Hello everyone. I hope your week went well. I've had a very, very wonderful, inspirational week, I have to say, and I want to share some of that with you. But first we'll wait for a few people to get in, and then we'll have our orientation, meditation, brief. And I'll say hello to everyone. I'm just going to look at messages. And as usual, please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. And we will begin this evening. Hang on a minute. Hi, Isabel and Carmen. And who we got there? Stefan and Becky. Welcome. Do you know Facebook has changed its format with doing this, but I figured it out and we're here. I was worried that comments wouldn't show up, but they're right there. I can see you, so you can hear me. Thank you, Isabel. Okay, I think we'll wait just a few more minutes for other people to get in. Hi, Donald. Hope all's well. And Sue. Verpy, glad to hear you've had an inspirational week. Mine has been a bit busy and tired, but tomorrow I'm going to see horses again. I get such good energy from animals. Me too. I really love them. Hi, Denise. Coming through loud and clear. Great. Becky, have the Chelsea Flower Show's not on TV right now, is it? Is it an old one? I actually exhibited in one of them and got a little certificate for a very creative stole that I did. It was the most amazing experience for me. I have to say, it was in the early days of being in England. Hi, Myra. Welcome. And Julie. Thank you, Julie, for telling me. Glad. Where in Michigan are you, actually? I spend a lot of time in Ann Arbor, East Lansing, and up north on the lake with my parents. So it's like home to me. Donald, I hope you're okay. Thank you for coming. Okay, I think we're going to start. So, one thing I discovered this week, that when you're meditating, visualizing, actually don't have a support to your back. I've never known that, though I have done it that way. But if you can, let's try doing this orientation without a back support. Be erect, feet on the ground, hands comfortably on your lap. And close your eyes. Be still. Pay attention to your breath. Breathing in and slowly breathing out. Breathing in. Hold it. And breathe out. As before, visualize a tiny white star, your eternal star, within your heart. And allow its radiance to expand into your body. And with each breath, Take in the radiance. Hold. And allow it to flow through your body. Today imagine sapphire blue within the radiance, calming your nerves with each breath. And within the blue is this shining white eternal star. Breathe in at your own pace and breathe out. Now allow this blue radiance and the shining star radiance to expand to your home, to your village, to your country. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out in your own rhythm. Expand to surround the earth. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Surround the earth with this blue, shining diamond light. Surround all of humanity with calm, peace, and love. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Touch all of Mother Nature with peace and love. Breathing in and breathing out. Expand and hold all of the animals upon the earth. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Now slowly return back to your country, to your village, to your home. And slowly re-enter into your heart with this little diamond light. Take both your hands and gently place them on your heart center. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And in your own time, in your own voice, say, I am love, I am light, I am a soul in a human experience. And open your eyes and come to the stream. I got some more people to say hi to. There's Erica, Michael Benner. Is that also Doreen? Francine, welcome. So nice for you all to be here. Okay, so a few of us, well, probably about 24 of us, students of Cecil, got together and had a refresher lesson. And it awoke. It was really special to be with them and to be doing some of the techniques and that Cecil wanted us to be inspired in our own creative process. And so tonight I thought I'm going to take us a little bit deeper into the angelic kingdom. Cecil only painted fools and angels. And the reason being, well, let me start again. You know how we're talking about different ways to touch the invisible aspect of who we are. Well, I want to share with you another aspect that Cecil shared with us, and that is about fools and angels. He felt that the fool, the symbol of the fool, represents the purity of what our mind is, what our heart is. And the fool is actually a connection to the angelic kingdom. And I want to show you, I've done a slideshow of some of his images that I can deepen out with you as you observe them. So bear with me for a minute. And here we go. This is one of my favorite fools. And we'll be skipping over this really fast, it looks like. This is the Celestial Dawn Chorus, the Fool and the Flower. He did a lot of ink drawings. This is a hurt angel, because they hurt because of what we're doing to the world. Dancing fools, angel of flowing light, that's the man, Cecil. He had very deep, penetrating eyes, I have to say. Praying fool. Angel by the blue water. And we return to the pilgrimage. Now what I want to say as this continues is that the thing to Cecil the Fool was a very open, childlike aspect of our being. Trusting and innocent, yet vulnerable. And he's a bridge of connection to the angelic world and the invisible reality. It's like above and below in some ways for him. And the important thing about this is learning the language of our inner life. We've talked before about spending some time each day to look up and feel it. Eyes closed, meditate, dance, walk in the woods, but consciously contemplate the invisible aspect of who you are. And you know, artists give a lot to the world. Well, we give what we can. And we have a choice. And even in the art of living, we have a choice because we're creating our life, what we attract. And today there's a lot of images of torment and conflict and violence and anger and tension. I mean, and the reason why all of that seems to be dominant is because we're in imbalance. We're not contacting the invisible side of us, which brings ease and peace and beauty. And it conditions the world. What images we see, what images we create, what images we think attracts one thing or another. So the great thing about the Fool, as we mentioned last week, was the importance of joy and laughter. And the Fool does that. He is the symbol of joy, and he heals with fun. And the connection to the angelic love. And together is why Cecil, throughout most of his life, did images of those two aspects. And it's like, the classes, he put us through a lot, I have to say. There was no chance to have any sort of mental idea of this is what I'm going to draw, because he wanted us to touch that place, the childlike images within us, to be able to perceive. And it's as though it's the first time you've ever seen something like the wonder of a child when they first see something that they never saw before. You know, what is that saying? Except that ye be as little children, for otherwise you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Very wise saying. And it represents this path. In that situation, it's a Christian saying, and there are many, many other ways to go on this journey. But what he encouraged us to realize is that the purpose of, in his mind, true art would be to bring ease to another's heart. It was 8 years of quite a wonderful, inspiring experience, I have to say. I'm going to check your messages. Hang on a minute. I have to go backwards and forwards. You know, Stephen, the Tate has a lot of his work in the archives. You can set up in a what's it called? An appointment to go down and see his work. And he's considered the William Blake of his era. So, and William Blake was one of his favorite artists, along with Redon, who he loved the colors that Redon used. And it's an interesting experience of how to work with color that flows without a mental intention sometimes, and yet there can be intention, and even that intention is based on the flow of the creative force that you allow to come through without any idea of what you're going to do. And most of the time I have no idea what I'm going to do, what's going to be born. And I'm working on a few this week. And the reason why the week was so inspiring is during the Cecil class, Lily, one of the first students of his who I worked with for many years and we're very close, she took us through it. And you have to do these triads of colored dots where you start with red, yellow, and blue. And they're the parent colors in that triad. There are many different triads, but every time you create a triad, the main colors are the parent colors. And then you do more dots where, say, you mix the blue with the yellow, and then you mix the blue with the red, and then you do the red and the yellow. That's the children colors. Now, I've been looking through my old notes since Friday, and there are a lot of other triads that you can make in relationships of taking one of the children colors and see what it feels like to have a parent circle around it. And by doing these triads, it's a meditation. And then after doing that, and usually it was color in the summer, in the spring, in the summer, he would have us do a meditative painting from the imagination, because he said that the imagination is really, really important. It's not fantasy where you make up something. And it's imagination is that place that links you, and I've said this before, between the invisible and the visible. And so he wanted us to contact that. So we'd have exercises of being in the imagination. So Verpy's saying that she's not feeling very talkative, but I'm listening, like yesterday on Matt's Live. I was also distracted by something happening in the house last night, so couldn't concentrate, and will need to watch it again. Verpy, I felt your silence. I was really glad that you can have times where you can listen. Because on Matt's lives, and I hope on these lives, you, all of you are encouraged to go to that point of listening. And I think that's great. And then you'll come back and share with us all the wonderful things that you are on another stream, but in the silence you are sharing as well. You're like holding that space. Hi Beta. Hi Denise. Yep. Julie quoted from Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Totally. Knowledge, as much as how wonderful it can be, it can create a block to the doorway to where all knowledge exists, and all joy and all love and everything. So one thing Cecil was very adamant about is that there is a third power within us. We know many people work through a biological aspect to understand the world. Other people, particularly at this moment, work through a psychological aspect. But he felt that the moment you touch the invisible aspect, the moment you're working with your imagination, you're actually using a third power within you. And it touches the divine, it touches the fabric of life, and that's where psychology and biology and even science, the mental aspect, is a tool, but it doesn't touch the total reality of who we are. And we need to touch that in order to have peace and harmony in our lives. And how often I talk about the masculine principle and the feminine principle being in a triangle of relationship with the spirit side of life. Our world right now is got a dominant masculine principle, and it's not to do whether you're a male or a female. That's very funny. Becky, Julie, was Albert related to Albert? There we go. Your fool is acting up, which is really super. We have to smile and laugh and enjoy our lives. So what I was going back to this masculine feminine principle, we've actually lost contact with the spiritual side of ourselves. And we are experiencing a very dominant masculine principle experience, which closes down so much. I don't know about you, but sometimes it just feels really empty. And if that emptiness is there, loneliness will come. And you know why you're lonely? It's because you're longing for something that is so nourishing within, and the balance of who we are as human beings. And artists can give a lot in helping with that. But most of all, humanity has a job. We have a purpose, and that's to transform the darkness, the heaviness, into light. It's our main purpose, and to have conscience and a morality, not necessarily by a rule book, but there's a knowing. We know how to love, we know how to be, we know how to share and be kind and good and wise. We've just lost the stream for a while, and I hope that we all can sort of plant a seed and let it grow with lots of water and joy. But one thing that is very interesting that Cecil used to talk about, he said that our civilization, our culture, our current Western culture, is probably the only one in 20,000 years of history that does not have a metaphysical basis to it. I mean, yes, there have been great cultures of the Greeks and the Italians and the Arabs and just loads of great cultures, but they always had a metaphysical aspect to them that was first. I mean, you look at those amazing buildings that exist. They were based on a metaphysical, divine purpose and intent to touch, recognize the wonder, the majesty of life. And I think our buildings just represent consumerism. And so we need to work within ourselves, and then the outside will shift. So another thing that was brought back to my memory during this Cecil get-together was about a Sufi belief that within the heart there is an eye. And I want to show you one of Cecil's drawings that encapsulated this. Here we go. He was commissioned to do the windows in a cathedral in Basingstoke that we all trundled off to, and John Tavener had a choir singing, and there was people reading poetry. Excuse my nose, itchy. And it's something that the heart we need to open up again, but with knowledge and things. I have written something. Yes, the opening of the heart, because I write some notes so I don't forget to share. And I will look this way. The eye of the heart sees the world of angels, and it carries forth the language of the inner life through poetry, dance, music, silence. And angels are the wind of the divine, infused with its beauty. So it seems like consciousness is a really important thing to focus on, because it's based on a metaphysical reality, and that is what brings balance to us all. And we need to, your heart, you're always talking with your heart, and your heart's always talking with you. And of course, the mind thoughts, we've been conditioned in the West to chatter, 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 chatter. And we need to have moments of contemplation. We need the stillness, the solitude sometimes, to find that balance. Otherwise, your body knows you're breathing in and you're breathing out. And you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Somewhere the mind can hoodwink that. And look at the sea. You've got the sea and the shore, and you've got the sun and the moon. There are all kinds of relationships that we have. And it's, we got to get back to bringing that into our regular lives, to inspire, to get that tingle, I really like tingles. Let's see what you guys are up to. What are you saying? Yeah, he was really good. What was really special is the atmosphere that we were caught in the class. And that's what he inspired us to seek to do in our daily living, to create an atmosphere which between the invisible and the visible, in our artwork, in our beingness, in our doing. It's really special. And I tried to take you through a bit on my art classes online when we had lockdown. I look forward to the moment that we can be actually in a room together, going through, creating an atmosphere. Nigel Martin says that he's loving this, very inspiring, and food for thought, stillness and solitude, and slowing down and considering nature. And Sue says, I have had solitude and deep relaxation on holiday, lots of quiet time. I practiced the slow breathing and I slept so well. When you're in that space, you are radiating. That's the atmosphere. You do it walking down the street, in your home, in your art, in your cooking. It's I really think humanity is meant to have a wonderful, happy life, creative, and very little suffering. It seems to me that the only suffering I get sometimes is when I'm resisting the hints of what I have to do to help bring that balance. Because we're all evolving. We're all transforming all the time. Mankind as a whole is transforming. and a lot of it is resisting. But at the same time, if we were a lotus flower coming through the mud, what would that feel like? Something inside is inspiring that lotus, knowing that it's to be above the water in the light, bringing such beauty. But he has to take that beauty, or she has to take that beauty through the darkness, through the mud. And that's why it's so important to have a vision of the light and the love, the angelic community, the joy of the fool that laughs. The vision that you know, particularly right now, there is a new vision expanding, evolving before our very eyes while a lot of people are in fear and panic. But it's coming, and what's interesting, it's a vision that's inside. It's always been there. And the angels are there guiding us all the time. We're the ones that have walked out from accepting that they exist. And even the fool. The fool is life, and the angelic community is the bridge to higher love. And what seems really important is for us to remember, to find that door, to stay in those memories, because it's always there. It's always there. And scientists finally are coming to realize that life is actually vibration. And they're just different levels of the vibration, so that you have the dense material aspect of the rocks, and even with our thinking can be very material, lower vibrations where we're spending a lot of time. And then you go up the scale, and as you go up you reach the angelic community, and that's when, if you're touching those moments, that vibration, you'll see that they're there. And there's I hope you've been saying, I am violet, I am pure, as God desired. You are pure. We're all pure. And that's why we have to transform and raise our consciousness, so that you can feel that bliss, feel that higher vibration. And there are days it's like, no, I'm not going to let that thought come in. It doesn't serve me except to take me down. And it's one thing that I was reading in one of his books, how important poetry is. And Verpi, you'll love this one. That poetry is what we do in words if we have the ears, the eyes, the heart to feel it. And there's poetry in the paintings. Everything has poetry when you see the beauty, the dance, the music. When you hear a Pink Floyd concert, or Matthews, when he takes us traveling off into one of his jamages, that's what we're touching, is the poetry of life. And it's not something easy to define. You feel it, and you know it. And if you take Andy Cooney, his way of creating is poetry. And he seeks to do divine poetry to inspire us to remember. I seek to do it with my artwork. And what's fascinating, Cecil inspired us to, through his own work, he didn't want to have it totally realistic. He wanted enough room in there for you to activate your imagination, because we all want to understand something. We want a reason for something. And his work calls you to feel, to remember, to activate, to see the wonder. And you get curious. So, I don't know if you noticed in a lot of my artwork, they're not all finished. The lines aren't all finished, because it's my way of getting you to activate your imagination so that you finish on the subtle realm the piece of art. I do the same thing with different glazes, where you travel through the colors and things, with clear glaze in between, so the light travels in. So the acrylic paints, which I've said before, reflect light outwards, and there's a whole dimension there that you can achieve. But I use oils because I want to use an inner dimension as well, so that the light is traveling in both directions. And as I said before, I use oil paints of the opaque nature to represent the more earthly realms. And then you go into translucent and transparent and the clear glazes in my paintings, so that you're getting an experience that recognizes that you are an invisible being as well as a visible being, invisible and visible, and that there's harmony there. There is a triangle between the masculine principle and the feminine principle joined with the divine realization. And that's what imagination does. And so I'm just looking at, excuse me, I have an itchy nose. I'm going to have a drink of water. Just a minute. So the main thing for art, in the art of living or in the art of creating something that represents your catharsis, that brings you, it's your path to seeking who you are, to seek that balance. That's what the catharsis in painting can be, unless you want to just stop on the psychological level. And that's probably because you haven't gone further yet. But then you can represent nature, communion with nature. Everything's a relationship. You to your tools, to yourself, to your partner, to your family, to nature, to even to your paintbrush. There is a relationship there in everything, in your movements. And we have no idea how special creativity is, and the imagination that takes you to wonder, to, it's in my studio, I could create the best relationship with my partner. I could create the love of my children there. Talk about it a lot in my book. Many chapters on the creative aspect of my journey and my awakening. And there's one really great chapter about when I first met Cecil and what he put me through. Yeah. Manuza, I'm sorry I missed your lessons. I realize humans seem unable to see beauty or to suffer in front of beauty. Could it be that humans are losing completely contact with their true nature? Totally. They have, but that doesn't mean the true nature isn't there. We're waking up. Humanity needs to wake up, or we shall disappear, or we'll stay in suffering. I don't want to be in a prison of sadness. And especially since I know inside every one of us is this incredible paradise And that's what I would like within the physical universe. And you've got Mother Nature reminding us that you can be on the planet and be in heaven. That's what we're supposed to feel. You look at her, you walk in. I must tell you, today there was a scent in the air that was like, you know how sweet the air can be when you're up a mountain? Or the dew that just dropped in a pine forest. It was like that. I had to open all the doors. It was like, wow, that is so wonderful to smell. And it's maybe it's something to do with autumn. But it was really, really special. And I have to say that it's coming close to the end of our stream. And what I'd like to do is for us to do a little closing visualization. And I want to put the image up for us to focus on. And here it comes. So this time, let's calm our bodies, calm our minds, and focus on the light streaming down through the trees. Just focus on that and take it in and allow it to touch your diamond heart. And travel between the radiance in your body and the radiance of the sun. So we'll breathe in the light and breathe out in return with thanks. And hold that image within and know you are the light within and the light you radiate without into the world. But as before, at the end of these streams, I want us to go through all of our centers and close down each chakra, each center. So we would begin at the crown center with a sign across and a circle of light, saying thank you. Come to your brow center, sign of the cross and a circle of light. To your throat, sign of the cross and the circle. To your heart center. To your solar plexus. To your sacral. To your base center. Then from your crown center, create a line of light going down your body to the earth, from heaven to the earth. And when you come back up halfway at your solar plexus, create a horizontal line of light. And then surround the whole cross, the equilateral cross, with a circle of light. And place that within the eye of your heart. And say, thank you. May peace be with you all. And we have a few more minutes. I'll look at your sayings, your messages, your comments. So, be well and be beautiful. And thank you for coming. Good night, Myra, and hi, Tony. And thank you for being here, everybody. Best wishes. And don't forget to smile. It touches the angels. Speak soon. Bye.